to know the artist behind the epic melodies, songs, and beats. Celebrating the best new music from around the world. This is the A State of Trance podcast.
Hey, what's up? My name is Ruben Onder in the studio here in Amsterdam with the State of Trance podcast. I'm still sweating because of his guest mix. It was pumping. We reached 155 BPM in the studio today. Pablo Rint, or better known as Maddix.
Yes.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, I'm happy to hear. I hope you feel the same after a few questions.
Yes,
that you're still happy
so.
that you're here. So I have a few questions from the fans. I'll ask you those later. But first, I start every podcast the same. I just want to know a little bit more about you and how you fell in love with dance music. So what was the first time that you were in touch with dance music? That you fell in love with it?
I think it was around when I was 14 years old, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I got in few tracks. I think it was one was like Living on Video.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, some of that kind of style. And I downloaded a few tracks on my MP3 player back then. The really old school ones.
Yeah.
And
the pen drives.
Yeah, the pen drives. And I think I had like 5 or 6 tracks only, and we went on holidays, and the only thing I listened to in the car was those 6 tracks on repeat. I was hooked.
Do you still remember which tracks it was besides Living on Video?
No, I don't know.
No?
It was some Paquito stuff, I think, but I don't exactly remember.
The cheesy kind of stuff. And this was when you were 14.
Yeah, 14, 15.
Quick math. So there was one in 2004. And you also have a track called 2004.
Yeah.
Coincidence?
Yeah, coincidence though, yeah.
I guess. So,
yeah.
Okay, so you went on vacation, you had 6 tracks on your USB key, you listened to that all the time. And then the moment came that you were like, hey, I want to make some music as well.
Yeah. Actually, I got introduced to FL Studio.
Mm-hmm.
It was called Fruity Loops then by a friend. And we made remix of Het Prijmeisje. For all the Dutchies listening.
At what? Nina is laughing right now since she knows what it is.
Yeah, you don't know this?
No. Yeah, now that you sing it, I understand it.
Yeah, Meisje met de Prij.
Okay.
And
that was your first track. Okay.
Yeah, because I didn't know what to do, and it was for some kind. We made it some kind of school assignment. They didn't approve the school assignment because it was kind of stupid.
Yeah.
But that's how I got in touch the first time. And I never really quit it.
No,
I just enjoyed it so much. But I mean, in the beginning, it was just for fun. I wasn't taking it seriously. Like
no,
right
I understand it. If that was your first tune, that was the start of a career. But then you picked it up. You started doing it more seriously. Did you teach yourself how to use the equipment or anything like that?
Yeah, I googled a lot. Together? I remember YouTube did not exist when there was not that much information, but just trying stuff. I remember finding out how to make white noise. So like my brother, he also made some music. Yeah. So I ran downstairs like, yo, check, I know how to make yeah. No, but I teach most of it myself. I started studying artificial intelligence actually.
Okay.
But after 3 months, I decided to quit because there was just no time for music, and I missed it so much. Like every day I had to leave the house at 7. I go home at 7. Then homework. I just no time. And I have a musical background with my mom as well, so I just needed the music in there.
What does your mom do for music?
She plays percussion, djembe. So she teaches lessons and gives workshops.
That's how you've got in touch with music at first, I guess. You were always around music.
Always around music.
But you started studying artificial intelligence, and this was which year? Because right now, every news item is about artificial intelligence. All the producers are scared. All the musicians are scared right now.
I don't know. It's a long time ago. I was 18.
Okay. Yeah. So this was when you still had to explain to people what artificial intelligence was.
Everyone was confused. Everyone was like, what is this? I think the study back then was there for like 3 years, 4 years max.
What made you fall in love with artificial intelligence? You wanted to study, because that's for me, that's very interesting, because this is ages ago.
Yes, but I have a very technical background as well. My dad is a teacher at the university in Eindhoven. I just enjoy it a lot. I enjoy like
you were always in computers.
Yeah, always in computers. So that's why dance music is like the perfect and it's music and it's technical. Perfect combination, I think. But yeah, that's why I chose artificial intelligence. And I don't know.
That was something that was hardly existing back then. Artificial intelligence was pretty much Google was like, oh my God, this is already something special.
Yeah, yeah. And actually, I liked it a lot. Like I did only 3 months, but I had lots of fun. But I ended up skipping my homework like after 2 months and just go into FL Studio, make music.
Yeah, well, makes sense. Well, I will get back to that AI in just a little bit because we're still in your history. The first release, correct me if I'm wrong, was Maddix and Newtown Knife Gang Anthems. Was that one of your first releases in 2014?
Yeah, it was one of the first. Yeah, I think so.
So that's almost 10 years ago. How long did it take you to go from Meisje met de Prei to releasing anthems? How long did it take you that you were skilled enough to put something out?
Well, quite some time. I have had a few releases on my own name, Pablo Rind. Don't Google it.
I'm definitely going to Google that straight away after this podcast.
It's still on Spotify, I think. But I wasn't happy with those, so I came up with a new name. And like when I quit artificial intelligence, 2 years later, I started studying on the University of the Arts in Utrecht.
Okay.
For Dutchies HKU. And I think in the third year, I had my third year I had my first release.
Okay. And you learned how to make music on school as well. How do I have to see that?
It's super amazing. It's like an amazing school, but they don't really teach you specifically anything with dance music. In my classes were like people making music for commercials, people playing the violin, people singing. It's like everything combined, and you get a lot of basics, and then they just support you in your direction, whatever you want.
Okay.
But I think like a lot of the stuff you have to do yourself, but then they can support you in a great way.
So this was before, because right now you have the Herman Brood Academy. So that was before Herman Brood Academy existed, or?
No, it's, I think it's next to each other.
Okay.
But most people don't know, but it's not a dance music production school.
It's an art school.
It's an art school.
Okay.
Yeah. So you learn a lot of different things, a lot of things you will never use again, but kind of open your mind maybe. And I think, for me, it helped a lot.
So it's a very cultural education.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Never heard that before, that a musician or at least a dance musician went to a school like that.
I was in like Sick Individuals. They were 2 classes above me.
Okay, but, so they went to the same school?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Do you still talk with them sometimes?
Yeah.
About that? Okay,
yeah.
That's cool. And 2015 was the first release with Revealed. Now you're still releasing with Revealed right now. So that's a relationship that already exists for 9 years. The first release was Ghost.
Yeah.
Right?
Riptide.
Riptide was the first one.
Riptide.
So tell me, how did you come aboard Revealed back then?
The music I made would like perfectly fit Revealed, so I was always trying to get in touch.
Yeah.
I know, and I had some emails, but it's just difficult to get a reply or whatever. Which I understand now because it's like a ton of.
Who was
emails.
the A&R back then?
Sebastian.
Sebastian. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I remember getting in touch. Actually through Armada, I think. That I had a release on a sub-label, and that got pitched to Dyro's radio show when he started Wolf Radio. And if you listen to Wolf Radio, the first episode,
the first track
was my track. Really?
Okay.
Yeah. And obviously, like Wolf was part of Revealed. They were connected. So the A&Rs heard it and they were like, "Yo, this is sick. We would have signed it to Wolf." I was like,
"You're like, guys, I sent you.
I sent it to you, but I didn't receive any reply." But that's the first time we actually got in touch and we stayed in touch. So I remember sending 7 new tracks, I think, after that, and Riptide got signed. So I was happy. I couldn't sleep.
How did you deal with rejection before all of that? Emails that you didn't get a reply, and how do you react to that as an up-and-coming artist?
It was annoying sometimes. Makes you feel kind of sad, like shit, another one rejected.
Yeah.
But what I started doing, like I felt my quality was good enough. It just wasn't for the label at the moment.
Yeah.
So I started giving the tracks away for free on SoundCloud, and then I made a download gate through Facebook. So
you had to like, and then
and then I emailed like 60 blogs myself, tried to find the people working behind them. and out of 61 of them replied. But they posted it, and after like a month, my first free track on a new SoundCloud had like 10,000 plays.
Wow.
Which for me was actually really good.
That's massive.
Yeah.
Because when you put that in perspective, 10,000 people, that's like a football stadium basically.
Yeah.
Dance for a football stadium, listen to your music.
Yeah, and there were no algorithms yet. Like people specifically had to search for your song or run into it, and there was no like pushing algorithms like right now. So I was happy, and that was like, if a label rejected it, I just put it out as a free download. But after a few free downloads, soon like the labels caught on, and yeah.
Is that something that you would recommend to a new artist as well? Like if you don't get any reply, because on one side you have to be like, okay, maybe it's not good enough. I'll just keep it for myself. But on the other side, you were happy enough with the music that you just wanted to give it away, or you didn't think about that too much.
No, I was happy enough. Like I just give it away, and I mean, it doesn't really hurt, especially if people can now like see the trajectory you've taken.
Yeah,
they see you grow, and it's also it's fine to have that. I think
like a slow start basically to her career.
Yeah,
that's totally different right now. I think it's one track and then
yep,
that's what happens, I guess. And then the years after that, I guess like 4 or 5 years, you were just releasing, well, mostly Big Room.
Yeah, mostly Big Room.
Big Room, even like a couple of collabs with Hardwell as well, which were very, very commercial, I would say.
Yep.
Big Room, main stage kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And we already addressed it in the radio show in 2020. So before everybody started making techno, you were like, okay, I want to do something else.
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
Yeah, there's a few reasons. Like my own taste changed. Like I started listening more to techno. I started going to techno festivals, parties here in the Netherlands.
Awakenings.
Yeah. I just enjoyed it more. And I realized like I would never actually buy a ticket for my own show.
Yeah.
And it was kind of weird to realize.
You're like, okay, I'm not going to see this Maddix guy who plays Big Room. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, exactly. And I still had fun doing the shows, but I just realized like my taste changed. I want to make something else. And then another thing, like it was really difficult to break through in the Big Room thing.
Yeah. Because it's so oversaturated.
Yeah, and I always wanted to be like more unique. And because of like all the fans you build up, you're releasing with a label that does mostly Big Room, you start kind of working on a new track, working towards that specific sound. Yeah. To be able to release that.
You were making the sound of the label rather than your own sound.
Yeah. And like when I started, I really enjoyed Big Room, but it just grew out of it, and the music didn't change at that moment with me. So I decided to just switch it up, go in the studio completely blank. I actually didn't even tell my manager about it. I just started working. I made the first track, and then I had a meeting with my manager. And the funny thing is, he didn't know a single thing. I entered his room, and he was like, "Okay, Pablo, something needs to change about your music."
Oh, really?
Really? And
you're like, hold my beer.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, listen to this. I played it. He was like, okay, this is it. We're here. So it was like perfect.
And he walks out of the room. I'm such a good manager.
No, it was like perfect chemistry for some reason. I think he felt the same. I felt the same, and just like perfect timing. And from there on, like, I have much more freedom in the studio now. I don't really care. I also think it's an evolving process. Like before,
also with maturing yourself as
well.
Yeah.
And now I just make whatever I feel like making, and I think I'll keep on slowly changing my sound, trying to push it forward, trying to stay unique.
Yeah, because for me it's funny because right now everybody's jumping on. Excuse me for saying everybody's jumping the techno train.
Yeah,
because. Or the bandwagon, I should say, because everybody's starting to make the sound that you are actually making. You started this 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
As a Big Room guy. Did you feel that it was hard to show your fans that you had a new sound going on? Because I have to say, like the techno scene is very puristic. And suddenly you're like, hey guys, I have some acid here for you in your face.
I know.
What was the reaction of the techno scene for you bringing in the sounds?
I was worried in the beginning. But I talked a lot with Revealed, like about which direction, and a lot of people said like you can't be a techno DJ, and I told them I don't want to be a techno DJ because it's not gonna be proper techno. It's something like techno for the main stages or whatever. Yeah. So I don't care about like the techno scene not liking it or whatever. It's just something new that I try to create. But I'm super surprised to see that actually, if I send out a promo, I only send them the more techno promos to the techno artists.
Yeah.
But they are way more responsive. They reply to
Really?
the emails. They are way nicer, actually, opposed to like what I usually send out to more the EDM stuff.
To be honest, I think there was a bit of a shock up also for these artists. Like, let's say Charlotte de Witt is also playing your kind of sound as well. In the past, it would only be like deep and driving techno, and now they dare to bring in some more commercial sounds as well.
Yeah, I think the market there is opening up. I'm just happy to see it. Like, I would have never expected like Emily Lenz playing.
That's nuts.
But I'm happy they're open to that, and really cool to see.
Yeah, I think so too. And my question now is, because you started the movement, you brought it into Revealed, and then suddenly, I think it was 2021, Hardwell made his comeback to Ultra. Or 2022? Was it 2021? Anyway, it was last year, I think.
Yeah.
Hardwell was back. And everyone was expecting like EDM Big Room. And he started playing like massive techno records. A lot of your stuff also, I guess.
Yeah, no, the first show he did, he played only his own stuff.
Yeah.
The whole album.
But was he maybe inspired of what you brought into Revealed?
I guess it's possible. I don't know.
Well, you're a good friend. You should know.
Yeah. I know I'm a good friend, but like I know he was also working on his album, but I actually never heard anything of it until the last moment.
Yeah.
No, not even.
What did you think when you heard
the first time was the Ultra, so I watched the Ultra live stream. I knew it was gonna be more techno, so I knew everyone's expectations were to be like everyone was gonna be shocked.
Yeah,
but I liked it a lot. And I'm super happy that he's doing this now because we've worked on so many collaborations. I was there on my birthday in his Ziggo Dome show.
Mm-hmm.
I was just in the crowd and he played like 9 of my tracks back to back to back to back. Yeah. I mean,
think about it, if you had to take one shot every time you played with your record. Yeah, because Acid just came out a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Revolution was out just before that. I have to give a shout to Linnea Chassot as well. Sometimes we play her stuff on the show as well. She did the vocals for that track.
Amazing.
How did you find her, by the way? Just a side question.
Well, I don't even know. I think through Cloud9.
Okay, yeah. Makes sense.
Because it's quite a long time ago. We just had to wait a long time for this release.
Yeah.
Because everyone's schedules were too busy, like too full with releases. So we had to wait.
Makes sense if you have Timmy Trumpet and Hardwell and yours. You release a lot of stuff as well.
Yeah.
Because the next release that you're going to put out is Open Sesame.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, I ran into the original some time ago.
Urban Cookie Collective, wasn't it?
No, I think
no, Lila K. That's what it is. Lila K.
Lila K. Yeah. And then I ran into some remix with the really cool part and was like, wow, okay, that's cool. Let's see if I can make it. So I just made it for my shows. Everywhere I play it.
Yeah.
Insane reaction. Insane. So now we can finally release it. I'm super happy. I think it will be quite a big tune.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, because when I listen to your sets, there's a lot of reworks in there. Is it something that labels ask you to do, or every time you work the same like you did with Open Sesame, that you're like, okay, I love this tune, I'm gonna make a rework out of it and see what happens? Yeah,
both ways. But I started doing the remakes because I want to play my own music in my sets like as much as possible. Mm-hmm. And then after COVID, I started doing like sets again in the new sound. So none of my old tracks I want to play, only the new stuff. And I realized like, okay, I need some points of recognition, like recognizable things in there. So that's when I started making some of the edits. And yeah, a lot of them got released actually. Yeah. I still have a few that are unable to release, but yeah.
So how does it normally work? Because this is a lot of young producers do this as well. They make edits of classics that inspired them in the past, send them to a label without any response. Is it something that you send to the labels, or are labels approaching you like, hey, we hear this track that you edited from us and we want to release it?
Usually we send it to the labels,
okay.
Or they ask me now, because that's like, but that's only started later on.
Okay.
Like the Tremor remix, Dimitri Vegas asked me to do it, but like Little Industry, Take Me Away, Satisfaction all started without...
started as a bootleg.
Started as a bootleg, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I have a couple of questions from our listeners. Connor Pethard Music wants to know, what is the best way to make acid? That's my question as well, because I told you before, and it's like for Bliksem, there's a tune I just released with Ben Gold. We sat in the studio, we listened. I'm not ashamed to say this. We listened to Heute Nacht, your tune, almost has 30 million streams on Spotify already. And we were listening to that last part before it hits in, the acid and the hard kick. We just try to recreate that acid, but it's so hard. So Connor thinks the same thing. What is your secret behind the acid?
It's been a crazy process. Actually, you should. I might post this one day on my Instagram. The old version of Heute Nacht.
Yeah.
The acid sounded like shit.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I was just trying, and basically, I've done a few tracks with hardware synths, a few tracks with software. Both are good enough. It's just about the processing, and the processing. Kind of a secret, but it's basically distortion, EQ, and those next to each other. I think there's like 20-something plugins on there.
Okay.
Yeah. But EQ, distortion, then another EQ, then another distortion.
So you just keep on distorting it until you get it right.
Yeah, but the go back and forth is like a puzzle. And now I have this chain saved, so wherever I put it on, it sounds insane.
Okay, I'll steal your computer later on and try to find that chain, 100%. Alessandro thinks, what do you think of the current trance influence on techno music?
I love it. I love trance. I love the old school trance as well. And I actually do it myself as well, like putting larger, maybe more modern kicks on the old trance.
Chord progressions.
Yeah, but I love
big riffs.
Like my songs sometimes aren't that melodic, whatever, and that's why I really enjoy bringing in like the emotions with the trance stuff. Yeah, so good.
The best of both worlds, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
John M. Ruticki wants to know, when did you first have the idea for your new sound? Was it a moment of inspiration, but the trigger point, I guess?
When
did you first have the idea for your new sound? You kind of explained that already.
Yeah, but it was 2019, like when I started producing. And I remember the last show I did before COVID was in Bootshaus, Germany. And I played 3 new songs just as a try.
That's a crazy club, by the way.
Fuck.
I think in Europe that has to be the craziest club.
Yeah, it's the best I've played. Actually.
Yeah.
It's so
if
good.
you've never been there, go to Bootshaus, 100%. Yes. Bradley Braak wants to know, are there any collabs with trance artists on the planning?
Good question.
You did a remix for Will Atkinson, for example.
Yeah, a remix for Will Atkinson, the remix for Armin, but not really a collaboration with a trance artist at this moment. But I would like to. Yeah. But I first need to finish all the other collaborations.
Which are you still finishing?
I don't know if I can say everything. It's just
no one's listening.
No one's listening.
Spill some beans, come on.
No, I've been working with Umek, for example. He reached out, and that's also super cool. Like, he's a techno artist. He's one of the legends.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love his productions, and then he reaches out to me. So we've been working.
So the little Pablo is screaming inside to get messages like that.
Yeah. Super cool.
I think that's super cool as well. The funny thing is that most of the questions that we get in is the same. For example, Samano Music says, what made you go down the techno route? Well, you explained it. Tone Ross always has good questions. You were one of the first to do big room techno. What made you jump to this style? Well, you explained that as well.
Yeah.
So what rests for me is that I would love to know from you what is coming up in the next few months.
I'm working on a lot of collaborations. So I think we have 2 more original tracks scheduled, and then we start releasing the collaborations. And like I just had like 2.5 weeks of studio time, which was really good.
Yeah.
The summer is packed with shows, touring. But a lot of stuff is now in Europe as well, which I'm happy, because in the big room days, I was going to Asia a lot.
Yeah, long flights.
Long flights, it just kills you. So I'm happy that you now have like 4 or 5 days in the studio, then two days of touring in Europe, and then back in the studio. So that will be
nice.
Good.
And do you get approached by a lot of people that suddenly, in the past you were sending them messages like, hey, do you want to work with me? And then you never replied on anything, and suddenly they reach out to you right now because you have such massive hits. How do you react to that? Or how do you filter that, like professionionally?
I'm just happy that the people I looked up to are now reaching out towards me. And I just like, I understand, like I cannot reply to everyone. I try to reply to all my Instagram messages, but some days it's just too much. And people keep on sending music, but you cannot listen.
Because now you're on the other side of the spectrum. Like in the past, you were sending music to people and you didn't get a reply. And now you have to do the same kind of.
Yeah, so I understand them, and if they reach out to me now, I'm like, if the bigger artists now reach out to me, I'm obviously gonna respond. I'm just happy that I'm finally made it that far that they reach out to me.
One last question: the AI. We already talked about it earlier. Do you think, because I'm in a few producer WhatsApp groups, and you see a lot of stuff going by AI. Some people are really afraid that producers don't have any role in the future anymore. What do you think about it? Because you're a little bit of an expert. Because AI is already able to create chords that create feelings into music, chord progressions, melodies. You have the crazy songs of B.I.G., Notorious B.I.G., of Drake already coming by. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's really interesting for music, but also kind of scary. Actually, last weekend, a few weeks back, some artist showed me he had Justin Bieber's voice, which was actually his own voice singing. And it's just crazy that it's possible to do that. I hope, I don't think like mixing is so specific, and to actually create new things, it will take a while. But maybe it can generate like separate stems, or I don't know how it's gonna work.
Yeah, because there's already algorithms. Like, for example, you make I made, for example, a mashup with was it Miracle? I don't know, one of those tunes. I just threw the MP3 on a website, and I got the vocals just separated perfectly. That's the positive things of AI.
That's a good part. That's amazing.
Or is it?
No,
we'll see in a few years.
Well, it gives you freedom, creativity. I don't know. I just hope that it's not like our skills will still be important. That's what I hope.
I guess a lot of laziness will come out of it also. We'll see.
We'll see.
Well, thank you so much for answering all these questions.
Thanks for having me.
And don't be a stranger. Be in the studio more often. It will be nice.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, man. See you. Bye-bye. Next time we're going to have another podcast. I'm not sure who's going to be there, so keep an eye on our social. See you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in. Check all previous episodes on YouTube or your favorite podcast portal. A State of Trance podcast.